Hey, this is Jericho from Fozzy, and you are watching Loudwire. Check out my interview. It's really, really awesome. Probably the best one ever. Ever!
A cat scratch, a whiplash, a witch hunting black. Sandpaper! Sandpaper dancing my skin, quite in the state of it!
Yeah, I've been a big Saxon fan for a long time, and it's funny because talking with Lars, we always have Saxon debates, and he loves, early 80s Saxon, and I was more of a mid-80s Saxon guy. But the thing that really impressed me with them is, a lot of bands have their heyday and then they're kind of done. But I saw Saxon about 6 months ago or a year ago, and they blew me away at how good they were, and also too how good their new records have been. Their new record, Sacrifice, is just a killer. It's like a thrash metal. Super heavy, Biff Bifford, the singer, sounds amazing. So when they asked us to tour with them, we thought, this is not just some kind of a retro thing. This is a band that like the Stones or like Motorhead are just as good now as they've ever been. So we're really excited. I mean, Saxon in Europe is a huge presence. They headline festivals all across Europe and the UK, and they haven't done a lot of touring in the States lately, so it's their first really big US tour in 10, 15 years, and we're a part of it. And it's our second full US tour. Our first was last year at Uproar, so it's a really good mix, and we're really excited. It's going to be a month of maximum raucosity. Yeah, I've already written 14 sets of lyrics for the new Fozzy record. And Rich has now taken those lyrics and he's sort of busting them down and putting them to his riffs and making some new riffs and stuff. So our idea was, as soon as this Saxon tour is done, is to get back in the studio and start recording. We want to have a new record out by next summer. So we really basically, Sin and Bones came out August of last year, and I think the next week we were writing new songs. So and it was really a great timing because Sin and Bones did huge for us. It was #1 on the Heat Seeker Billboard charts. Sandpaper was top 10 on Octane for like 12 weeks, and there's been a lot of buzz about the band. We've done a lot of touring on this record, so we want to keep the momentum rolling and the ball rolling. We're ready to hit the ground running. Like I said, to have this much material already written, it's a pretty good feeling. So we're ready to roll, man.
Something happens when the sun turns to gray.
Yeah, there's a couple on there. Once I wrote them and submit them, I kind of forgot. Let me see some good ones. I got them all here on my phone. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I sing the body electric. Do you want to start a war? Wolf in wolf's clothing, and burn, cleanse, burn. There's a couple good ones for you. I love that one. I sing the body electric. I got that from the Twilight Zone episode. Well, we've really cultivated the best Fozzy lineup in the history of our band, not just as players, not just as people, but as performers as well. We put on a great live show with a lot of energy. We don't have pyro and smoke and dragons flying from the ceiling. We are the show. And both Billy and Paulie are super energetic, great players. I mean, Paulie, I think, is the missing ingredient in Fozzy that we never knew we were missing until we got him. Just super excited to watch on stage, amazing tone. So when you have the front lineup of Jericho, Rich Ward, Billy Gray, and Paul DeLeo, it's a pretty explosive group of guys, and of course Frank Fonsery on drums. So we take great pride in the fact that we will go on stage with any band, put us with any band, and we'll kill them or die trying. Well, it kind of already is. I've done it 4 years in a row, and I think I'm kind of the Billy Crystal of heavy metal, and that I have that gig for as long as I want it. And I mean, who would not want it? It's so much fun every year, and it gets easier to do every year, and it gets bigger and bigger. The fact that Metallica played live this year, I mean, that pretty much shows you how big it's become. I mean, everybody from Avenged Sevenfold to Stone Sour to Metallica to Slash to Alice Cooper, they've all played there, and I think now it's the place to be. And every year, someone shows up that's even bigger and more legendary than before. I mean, last year, I remember Joe Perry showed up in the middle of the show because he wanted to be involved and he heard we were doing it, and we're scrambling down to the parking lot for 5 minutes to get Joe Perry. So it's just really cool, all the different stuff that's going on with that show, and it's about time. I mean, there's a hip hop awards, there's a R&B awards, there's a country awards, and it's about time there was a heavy metal awards show. And now everyone's getting behind it, not just the fans, not just the media, but the bands themselves. And that's even more important. I think we've got some big names even already ready to go for next year. So this continues to grow, and as long as they want me, I'll be happy to do it. My favorite Maiden album is Power Slave, to the point where, like we said, I even have Eddie from the Power Slave tour on my arm. To me, that was just the epitome of the band at their powers. I love every song on the record, but there's probably another 8 or 9 Maiden records that I would put up there as well. But just if you have to ask me which one's my favorite, it's Power Slave.
Something happens when the time.
Rock and roll's rock and roll, and wrestling's wrestling. So I think I'm the only person that was ever able to do both. But I mean, the one guy that comes to completely to mind is Zakk Wylde. Obviously, he thinks he's a Viking anyways. He's obsessed with the Ultimate Warrior. So I'd say Zakk Wylde, and also too Avenged Sevenfold's PA tour manager, best buddy. His name is Dan the Body. He's like Shadow's assistant, and he's been there from the start. He's obsessed with wrestling. Every year he dresses up as Rick Rude or Ultimate Warrior. So Dan the Body would definitely be one of those squash dummies from Avenged Sevenfold. He'd be like a squash dummy from the 80s that just comes out there and gets his ass kicked. And Zakk Wylde's the guy that could be the berserker and go win the championship.